We are live. Hey. All right, 2 more minutes and we're starting. How's everybody doing tonight? My brother's playing team fight tactics in the background, so you might hear a little bit of noise or a lot of bit of noise. It depends on how intense the matches get over there. But yeah, today we're going to be covering the very basics of esports, team competitive gaming. And that's like the bread and butter of everything, communications. And then we'll also cover a little bit about, I'll cover a little bit about the league that we have planned out, show you guys this nice little nifty diagram that I have made up. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well too. And our tournament coming up in 2 weeks, EU Regional, codenamed Autumn Armageddon. I'll post the graphic for you guys in chat so you can check it out. And let me go down to general. That's not it. I can't show you guys that just yet. I think I showed everybody the teaser already. Where did I put this in? Here we go. There, you check general chat. There's our teaser for Autumn Armageddon, EU region only, happening September 24th at 3 p.m. European BST. I don't know if it's up to the community if you guys would like to learn how to do interesting and cool graphics like the one displayed here. I could drop a tutorial series over the weekend and show you guys how I maneuver around Photoshop and Illustrator. All right, so it's time to get started. Lately, I've been having a lot of people, well, I've been watching a lot of scrims, as you all can see, and I've also been playing in scrims. I've also been coaching teams on the side, talking to a lot of players individually, and a lot of things that they ask me is, bang, what can we do to build our team synergy? So the first thing that I do is I step in a room with them. I watch them play a scrim or I watch them play a game. And the first thing that always, it's like a blaring red horn that pops out is the lack of communication. Teams are not communicating to one another. They're not relaying information, and they find themselves getting ran over very quickly in their scrims and their tournament matches, etc. And I know taking defeat after defeat after defeat can definitely wear a person down and make you not want to play the game anymore. So let's fix that. Let's talk about some of the basics of communication, guys. Some basic steps from yours truly. Bang. First of all, what is communication? I mean, obviously it's just simple conversation, right? Throwing words out there. But what exactly makes communication effective? What makes communication vital to the team? All right. And the first thing I say to that, guys, is you want to think of yourself like a stenographer or like a narrator to the story of your life, which is the game itself. All right. I have this number one rule that I tell everybody that I'm coaching on my team or other teams in general, that a blind team is a dead team. And that's really what's so important about comms, communications. It doesn't matter if, you're playing the game and a fly comes across the room and slaps you in the face, It doesn't matter if you stubbed your toe or something. The team needs to hear these things. It doesn't matter if somebody ran by you or whatever. You need to relay each and everything that is happening at that very moment in and around you, because things that you know are things that the players on your team won't know. And the things that they know are also the things that you guys don't know as well. By relaying all the information that you guys are gathering around your immediate vicinity, you give the entire team a 360 coverage of the entire map. But none of that happens unless you tell them what's happening, right? I know it sounds like common sense, but I know it sounds like common sense, but not all sense is common And I know when the game gets tense, when the game gets serious, you kind of focus on the moment. You shut down and you get a tad bit quiet and you forget to speak. And then that's when things starts happening, and that's when things start falling apart because, you know, you get shot, you get taken down, and then the same person that kills you ends up killing somebody else on your team. And that probably could have been avoided had you told them at that point in time who killed you, where they killed you, and how much life they got left. All that information is extremely vital because let's say my Aletta is running a flank on the right-hand side far off on the map and they get dropped, you know, but they don't say anything. How am I supposed to know where the next threat is coming? What if Osis just sniped you and they're standing right beside me about 10 feet in front of me, but I was too busy focused on the Jabali? These are important key points of information. So I want to run through like some simple rules when it comes to comms in games. The who, the what, the when, the where, the why, the how. All right. Whenever you spawn, from the minute that you spawn to the moment that you die, and even the moment of your death, back to the time of you respawning, you should always be relaying information that is viable and vital to the team. Information that's small to you is big to somebody else, you know? One thing I also noticed too, when it comes to like scrims and comps, I'll probably have to run through one of these VODs for you guys to see yourselves. An example of poor team communication is you can tell when a team's not communicating when there's a big setup that happens and there's no follow-up behind it. When I see that happening in the game, I know right off the bat, he didn't tell his team that he had his ultimate, and he didn't tell anybody when he was about to drop his ult, and he didn't tell anybody who he ulted, you know? For instance, we were watching a game yesterday. If you guys were watching the stream yesterday, we were watching Inflorescence versus Aphelion, T3 God, Myron, and G3 against Forever, Blues, and Kunai. And in that game, I believe it was Kunai? No, it was Forever that was playing Scotty. Oh, no, that must have been the game when they were up against RYX. My bad. The game against RYX. Somebody was playing Scotty. Scotty drops her second ultimate on the Jabali, but nobody's firing shots at the Jabali. On top of that, everybody had just spawned and they were making it to Scotty's position. So now we have a game-changing ultimate that it's wasted. We have a dead playmaker that just wasted their play that wasn't even used to make a great play to turn the game around. And it cost the team vital seconds that cost them the game. So let me give you guys an example. The moment that you spawn into the game, you want to tell your teammates what direction that you're going in. Okay? So if I'm playing Aletta and I drop down into the map, first thing you're going to hear me say, I'm flanking right, I'm moving over, I'm going this way, I'm going down the hallway. Another viable thing too for you guys that are playing with your teammates, playing constantly and playing religiously, is you guys should take some time out. I know it sounds stupid, but just jump into a private match, no bots, no nothing, just the three of you guys. Jump into a game, pick one of the maps that you know that's going to be ran inside the tournament, or any tournament for that matter, and just run around the map. And as you guys are running around the map, get familiar with crucial spots and give these spots names so that you all can be familiar with it when the call out happens. For instance, Arctic Express, the very center of the map, let's just call that base, okay? The left side where you have peek holes that allows you a firing sight on the people down at base, let's just call that window. And then on the far right where you have the hallways that leads into the base, we'll call that hallways. So the minute you spawn, I'm playing Aletta, I say, I'm hitting hallway, headed towards base, and then I'm going to double jump and go through windows, cover windows, work my way into enemy spawn, and then flank back on base. You guys can understand that information, right? The minute I get done speaking, my other teammate who's either running Gloria or Mark, you know, some form of DPS, lets us know I'm going straight down mid into base. I'm going to cover corner and watch left. or watch right. I'm covering right. I see Jabali. The minute you see somebody, tell everybody what you see, what you saw, and what's happening, what you're about to do, what you're currently doing, what's the consequence of your actions, what's the reward of your actions. If you kill somebody, hey, I just dropped Jabali, or I just dropped the Scotty, I just dropped the Shell. If you get killed, I'm killed, I got killed by Shell. Shell's at 25% health. Shell's heading towards windows. Shell's heading towards hallways. Shell's sitting on base. And above, everybody calls it the bridge. That's common sense, right? Whenever you're relaying information to your teammates, you also want to be very specific and detailed about the information that you're giving your teammates as well. So you see somebody dropping down on bridge, Aletta just dropped down on bridge, Aletta's down on base, Aletta's making her way towards window. Watch out behind you, Hunter. Hunter can also say, I see Shell, I drop Shell, Shell's down. I'm getting ganged by Jabali, Jabali on my flank, Jabali on my flank, need help, need help. Okay, when it comes to your skills as well, let your teammates know when you're about to cast skills, because skills and ultimates are very important for what we call combo attacks. All right? Let them know, hey, I'm dropping my, I'm 50% to my ultimate. My ultimate's at 90%. 3 seconds till ultimate. All right, Scotty, I'm dropping my ultimate now. I ulted Jabali, I ulted Sindri. Sindri ulted. Sindri's, confused or dancing or whatever, And Hunter can say, I push back Jabali. Sindri's open, Sindri's free. Get the Sindri, get the Sindri. You see how all of that pieces of information, you as a player, listening to all that, you know exactly what to do at these moments that I just mentioned? Why not apply some of these things in your scrims? And I guarantee you guys, you will see a major difference. Random corner right next to enemy spawn. Yes, WCG. That is a good example right there. Questions before I move on to the next part? But yeah, guys, comms is extremely vital. Sharing that information, helping your team see what others on your team cannot see. Also, another important thing about comms is understanding, and I can't stress this enough, knowing your place on the team. I know that sounds crazy, it sounds random, but you have to understand that when you guys are making your team comp, play to your strengths and play to your teammates' weaknesses as well. So that's very vital to know, okay? In a team comp where you're running double assassin, one assassin needs to work the flank, right? Another assassin needs to work the front and work the outside, pull the aggro. I like to call this the distract and attack method. One assassin comes up in the front, gets the aggro. I would say I would use a letter for something like this, or I will use Diggy, some assassin that has a type of sustain ability or sustaining passive. Run in, absorb some damage, get out of there, make them chase you. As they are chasing you, their whole focus, their whole attention, all of their eyes are in one direction. So that means what? They are blind in another direction. That's when I use my other assassin as the flank to come from behind and take advantage of that situation. Hit that moment. While you're doing that, you can have your DPS on windows, like picking them off or weakening them as they are trying to take down this low life assassin. I know it sounds crazy. Smart players don't do that, but believe it or not, even smart players can get greedy when they see something juicy in front of them. A low life assassin that has the potential to wipe our entire team is somebody that must absolutely be dealt with right here, right now, right at this second. It works a lot. Trust me, try it out in one of your games. You'll see the difference. It's one of my many dirty tactics. Another cool strategy too and technique to use. Let's go back really quick. About knowing your position, knowing your role. All right. Every team, I know that some teams like to run no team captains, but it's absolutely vital that you guys do have an in-game leader, somebody that you can trust, somebody that is going to make the right decision because they have a high sense of the game. They have a high skill, and usually when you do things that these people say, it always works out in your favor. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to that, it's also being humble enough to follow orders, and at the same time being humble enough to know when is it time to discuss a disagreement, because in the middle of a game is never the time to discuss a disagreement. If there's something that your IGL is saying, that's code for in-game leader. If there's something that your IGL is saying that you don't agree with, that's fine. Make it happen after the game, after the match. You guys can step to the side and have your little disputes. But in the middle of a match, that precious time, that little 10-second disagreement that you guys have can expand into 1 minute. That 1 minute disagreement that you guys have can quickly expand into a 4 minute, 5 minute argument. And that whole time that you guys are arguing, you're getting wiped over and over and over and over again by the team, because your petty little argument has caused a disruption or a break in comms. So ask yourself this before you disagree with your leader. Is this argument more important than winning the game? And if so, why am I on this team? I know that sounds terrible to say out loud, but it's the truth. I've caught myself several times having to humble myself and say, what's more important, me having fun or the entire team having fun? Just small words of wisdom there. It'll help you go far. Yeah. Oof. That took a lot out of me. I was gonna get some players together and give you guys an example of how comms works, but I think it's a little too late. I was gonna be proactive about this, but I got caught up with my team's practice. So what I'm gonna do for you guys as a special treat is later on tonight, I'm gonna reach out to some players and see if I can get some people together so we can give you guys an example of comms, and then I'll reboot the stream and make an announcement for you guys in the meantime when it comes to that. Does anybody here in the room or on the Twitch have any questions about their comms or suggestions, concerns? No communication with me, and then with communication after. I'm reading the comments, I'm sorry. This only works out for regular 3v3s, but people more interested in escort. 5v5 comes though. Ooh boy. Gonna love the chaos in bullet hell. Yeah, man, the 5v5s is, I'm really excited for that. One thing I'm really excited about in the 5v5s, because I can't wait to run the first 5v5 tournament and observe the new team comps that happens. Also, another thing too I wanted to talk about when it comes to team comps, don't get too focused on playing into the meta. I always tell my team this, and I tell every single player this, and I'm extending this to you guys out there in the audience. Meta, most effective tactic available, or whatever it stands for. Focusing on the tier list. All of that stuff is fine and dandy, but I hate to say it, throw it out the window. In a actual competitive pro scene, the tier list and the meta is nice and fine and dandy, but at the top of the food chain, those things kind of go out of the window, because the most effective tactic is the one that you make. The most effective team composition is the one that you guys have practiced and played with the most. A lot of people will say Johnny Jet or this character or that character is absolute trash tier. Just because these players aren't good with them, or these players don't know how to play with them, or these players didn't strategize how to use them in a competitive team setting, doesn't mean that these champions are useless. Everybody brings something viable to the table. You just got to know how to use it, and it takes practice, dedication, formulating some game plans and some strategies, some combos, some setups, some run-throughs. And like I said, if anything's practiced perfectly, it becomes meta. If anything is used over and over again to the point of perfection, it becomes meta. For instance, let's look at Labula. Labula is a very viable utility support in the game. In a third-person shooter, it's really hard to find a good support, or even make a good support for that matter. Nobody thought about playing Labula until we started seeing Labula pop up in tournaments. And then when people got to see how useful Labula's second ultimate was and how it just completely negated a lot of things that teams were setting up and it stops beautiful plays, all of a sudden Labula became meta again. A lot of people used to think that Ruby was like the best thing to ever happen until you saw it happen in the tournament where Ruby was absolutely getting shut out at every twist and turn of the game. So yeah, just because a lot of people say that this is meta and this is A tier and this is S tier and you should run it because the tier is perfect, doesn't mean that it's viable to your team composition. And that also falls back into knowing what your position on the team is. Knowing what your position on the team is all comes down also to who you are as a person, understanding yourself as a player, and knowing your key strengths. For instance, my key strength as a player is as a marksman and an assassin. I don't do well as a frontline tank, and I'm decent as a support, but I'm not the best support out there. I understand the mentality of a support. I understand and know how to teach people how to be good supports. But if I was to go up against a higher tier support than myself, I know right off the bat that that probably wouldn't be a good situation for me to be in. So I would have to plan accordingly to win that situation. If you know that you're a DPS and your team is telling you to run a tank and you're not really the best with tanks, you got to relay that information. Hey, look, I'm good at DPSs. Maybe you should, recommend some other DPSs for me to try out for the team. And I'll try that out and we'll practice it and we'll make it perfect. And then understanding your play style as well. Me, I'm the type of person that likes to run flanks. Sometimes I run in and gun. So that's why I love playing Mark. That's why I love playing Diggy and Ya and Gloria and Christina. I like hitting people with those sneaky plays, but I also like to be the guy that has to go to the front and hold down the front when I have to. That's my play style. So whenever I'm playing with the team, I pick a champion that plays to my strengths, but complements the team composition so that when I have to make a play, it's a play that everybody can play off of. If my teammate makes a play, it's a play that I can play off of as well. I try to be well-rounded in my gameplay. And you can't have that type of synergy unless you play a lot of games with a lot of different personalities or play consistently with the same personality. That also helps with your team which is communication. If you're not good with team communication, you need to be good with synergizing, knowing the people that you're playing with, and knowing how to play off of those people's weaknesses and strengths. Make their weaknesses your greatest strengths and give them the chance and show them what your weaknesses are so that they can be the greatest strength to your weaknesses and you guys have that perfect synergy. That's how you develop synergy. Oh, that was a lot to cover. Okay, I see we got some hands raised up, so I'm gonna bring some people up. Next IX, you come on up.
So first of all, naming places thing. Would you do that for every map?
For every map, yes. Like I said, if you have a team, the best thing to do is find the maps that you guys are best at, also find the maps that you guys are worst at, and you guys run around the map together as a team. And what I like to do, if you can't come up with a name, look for a landmark on the map. For instance, we'll look at default payload escort, the very first map that came out. Everybody knows that map, right? You know that map, right? Next.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say I'm on the defending side where you go upstairs and then you have to drop down or go down the stairs to your right. Okay. What will we call that area at the top of the stairs? Well, if you look to your left, you will see a bar and like a little awning and stuff. It kind of resembles a cafe. So I would tell my team, hey guys, let's call this spot the cafe. When you look down where the payload is and you scan over to your right, you'll see like a statue or like a fountain. It's the only fountain in the entire game, well, in the entire map. So you can tell your team, okay, this centralized area, we'll call this fountain. And to the right of the fountain, we'll call that fountain stairs. So if the team that's attacking comes off and to your right and starts going up the stairs, you can relay to your team, hey, Jabali, Hunter, and Iris are on fountain stairs. Does that help?
Yeah.
Right. All right, Zay, come on up. What's your question?
How do I become a pro player like you?
Lots of experience and getting whooped a lot. And being,
You do that.
I think, like the my greatest strength as a player and what helped me develop into the mindset of a coach was it's more than just taking a loss. I'm the type of person to where I'll give you guys like a little short story about myself. Back when I first started playing League of Legends competitively, I was around the silver borderline gold area, right? I know a lot of people don't know much about League, but there is a day and night difference. I'll give it to you guys in an analogy. Silver and bronze is the equivalent of a SWAT team, right? And somebody within the diamond challenger tier, the grandmaster tier, those guys would be the equivalent of like the Avengers or Winter Soldier, something like that. My very first game in a tournament, it was me and a bunch of low-level players like myself just getting introduced into the game, going up against people that has been playing this game for like the past 6 years since the game came out, and they had reached the perfect peak perfection of the game. They know all the ins and outs of every character and every little bit of information you can gather in the map. And we got stomped royally. We got stomped so bad, my team didn't even want to continue on to the first round. But for me, that defeat was the most humbling and most exciting thing ever, because I never took a serious loss like that ever before, other than playing against my brother in fighting games, and he would whoop me like 65-3 or 85 to like 10 or something like that. Like he would stomp me out royally. I'm the type of person with the mentality that where if I take a loss, I'll watch that replay and I will study everything that that person did to beat me. And then I'll study everything that I did to lose. And then I will go on YouTube. I'll hop on Google and do a bunch of searches and stuff to see where I went wrong and what I can do to improve myself as a player. And then I will find that person online and I will challenge them over and over and over again in a 1v1 until I get at least 1 point out of 3 or 1 point out of 5. If I know I can touch the best player one time, then I'm well on my way to reaching that person's skill level. And it's the same way when it comes to your scrims, when it comes to practices, when it comes to tournaments. You should be really excited when you get a serious whooping like that. It should make you really want to sit back and study the game even more seriously. Study your champion even more seriously. And eventually that'll answer your questions, eh? And that's how you become a pro player. I hope that Mr. Miyagi moment makes sense.
Wax on, wax on. Oh, I'm co-hosting now. You can't kick me off because I'm up here.
No, but I can mute you, which is just as easy.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can mute me. I'll stay on mute.
Done. All right, come on up, Forever. What's the question? If you're saying something, I can't hear you. You might have to like leave the stage, come back, raise your hand. I'll bring you back up, and your mic should be working by then. All right, step on up, Kunai. What you got for me?
Oh, what's going on? I just came in here.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Oh, what's going on? I just came in here.
Oh,
Just want-
nothing much. Yeah, we're just talking about comms and improving your team synergy.
Oh yeah, dude, my team center, my team. Yeah, no, dude, the whole team has gone down. I don't know. It's not there.
You want to expand on that?
Yeah.
Just give me an example of something. You don't have to name drop or anything like that. Just give me a
We
story of the
start-
situation.
We start arguing. We start losing. We start breaking down. Start going different routes. Start playing solo. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
nonsense. That's pretty much it, though.
Does it carry on into the next round and into the next round and into the next round?
Oh yeah, it does. Sometimes.
Okay. Well, typically, what are the arguments about? Is it like petty little who's better than who arguments, or you should have did this,
Yeah,
you should like blame games?
pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Well, the best thing I could say to your team and the other people that's listening is the very first step to progress in a team setting, because especially when you're on a brand new team and a bunch of players are coming together for the first time, you're going to have a lot of headbutting going on there, especially when you have a bunch of alpha male mentalities or leadership personalities butting heads or fighting for that leadership spot. Somebody needs to be humble enough to say, guys, this isn't productive. We need to back off. We need to stop. You know, what's more important, us beating these guys or us beating each other? Because the enemy's right there and we're doing their job for them.
Yeah, I get you. I get you.
But yeah, the best thing when it comes to that, when a bunch of when you guys start arguing things like that, once the round is over, take a, let the other team know, hey, give us about 3 or 4 minutes, and you guys work that out and come down to some type of agreement on how things should go. If you don't
Yeah,
agree with what I'm saying or the leadership that I'm providing for you, that's fine. You can disagree with me as many times as you want. I'm more than happy to have this conversation with you. But right now, in this game, in this moment, what's important is us turning this situation around. So I just need you to trust me. And if that continues to be a problem, then maybe we're not meant to work together. Sometimes you have to break that bad news. If somebody really wants to be a part of the team, if they really see you as family and they're willing to make it work, then they're willing to put their differences and their ego to the side for the sake of the team.
for sure, for sure. That's pretty much it, though. I
All
think
right.
Evan wants to come up here. Yeah, I'll let him come
Yeah.
up here.
Thanks for coming up. Welcome to the stage. Oh, wait. There we go. All right. Welcome back to the stage, Trevor. I can hear you now.
All right, hold on. All right, to hear my part of the story.
Okay.
So first round, right? We're going against AE. They're kind of whooping us in the first few seconds, right?
Yeah.
And they make second half, but after second half, we stop them. We're stopping them, and then we made them waste 5 minutes. They
Uh,
finally made it. Then we go into attack. We're pretty much dominating. We're dominating.
mhm.
We're winning. And then, someone on the team was arguing, and then we started losing.
So let's roll it back a bit. Let's talk about, you don't have to name drop or anything like that, but let's talk about how the argument started. What happened for the
All right,
argument to exasperate?
So Myron and G3 on their left side, right? By
Okay.
the taco truck or whatever.
What map are we on?
We're on docks.
Bar dock. Okay,
And
so the second part of the map, because you said the taco truck.
yeah.
Okay.
So the argument was that I told my Jabali, my tank, to push with me because I need help on the left side. I need help killing them two and destroying the teleporter. And basically, he wants me to follow him to the payload, which is dumb because we have to take them out first. They're just gonna hit us from behind, like.
Yeah.
And then that was just the argument, and he just kept arguing. He kept trying to argue with me, and I was like, bro, just do what I say. And I don't know, he got mad and left the team. So
Okay, so it sounds like you guys were split in two different directions. Both ideas were good. I think when it comes down to that, what I like to incorporate with players that are having difficult times communicating when it comes to like two different great calls happening at once, which one do we follow first and then which one do we follow second? I like to use the yes and or the no but scenario. You know what I'm talking about when I say yes and or no but? So
I don't know.
an example, if somebody says something that you disagree with, you can say no, but as a counter statement or something that you want to offer, like what's the word I'm looking for? It starts with a C. Somebody help me out here. What's this word?
Let's see.
Compromise. There we go. You want to come up with a healthy compromise whenever you say but. It's like, no, that's not a good idea. But what we can do instead of pushing cart is we can clear the cart and then get back on the cart.
That's what I was saying. Like,
Yeah.
kill Myron and G3 and the teleporter, so we won't have to worry about them no more spawning there. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And he just kept disagreeing with that, and I was like, all right.
So what happens? What I would do in a situation like that, if somebody's constantly disagreeing with an order that I'm giving out, I would say, okay, you know what? Let's do this. And then after the game, after this match, we can talk more about this in depth later. But right now, we're wasting precious time that could be used in turning this game around. Okay? So what's more important? You being right or us winning the match? And you being right and us winning the match are not the same thing right now. So we have to learn to agree to disagree and keep proceeding forward.
I don't know. What made me mad is like after that he said he was leaving the team. I was like, all right.
Yeah, that's like I said, if a player really wants to be a part of the team, if they really want to make it work, they're going to do everything they can to put their ego to the side and see that the team is something bigger than themselves.
And he was blaming it on me. Like, what?
Yeah, the blame game happens a lot. Trust me, I get blamed for a lot of stuff too. I remember one time, I'm not going to name drop or anything like that. Somebody got mad because they placed like fourth place in a tournament, and they said this would have never happened if we didn't have a shitty coach. And
that's crazy.
I know it sounds crazy, right? I'm humble enough to say I'm not the greatest coach in the world. I mean, I don't have no rings on my finger. But you know, at the same time, when somebody's blaming me or somebody's saying something out of anger, I've had enough experience to say that, or to understand that whenever somebody is venting their frustration out on you, they're not directly mad at you, they're mad at the situation. And sometimes when somebody's mad at the situation, it's hard to place blame on yourself. It's hard to take all that responsibility on. You want to find somebody to share that responsibility with, so you start pointing fingers until somebody takes the blunt, you know. And unfortunately, he didn't find the right one with you, I guess.
Bro, like I've been at IGL for like since I was 12. I'm like 18 now.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing, bro.
But like also another thing too for you as well is whenever you catch yourself in a situation like that, when the match is over, you guys can either, you know, ask AE for that quick 5-minute timeout, or you guys can just completely leave the scrim and talk on the side. And this is when I go into detail. And what I like to do whenever it comes to settling an argument is I allow the other person to speak first. Okay, you said you wanted us to push cart. What was your idea, and how would you have done it? How would you have made it better? All right, you want to listen to every little detail, and then you want to acknowledge what they're saying. This is, you know, problem solving 101. Listen to them, repeat what they're saying, acknowledge what they're saying, you know, and then talk about your point of view. So let's talk about that situation. You wanted to take out the teleporter. Me personally, as a coach, I'm on your side, because if I want to push an objective, before I push any objective, I want to make sure that the objective is something that is safe and ready for everybody to do. Why would I take a risk and put my team in danger to push an objective that is going to get us all killed and waste more time for us spawning and getting back to that point just to push it again? So me, it's always eliminate the threat, then hit the objective. If it's an Osa's teleporter, it doesn't even shoot back. Why not? Or better yet, there's 3 people on the team. Have your third man go take out the teleporter while you guys push the cart.
Let's say we did what he said, right? We all get on objective. We all kill all 3. They're just gonna keep throwing bodies at us until we die.
But that's every 5 seconds. So now you have to worry about something happening over your shoulder every 5 seconds. And what if one of those 5 seconds is the 5 seconds that one of you guys die? Now there's 5 seconds that you and your teammate have to defend against 3 people. That's why I would always say eliminate the threat before you hit the objective.
Could have said it any better. I like it.
But yeah, that's my rule of thumb.
I don't know. It just happens.
It does.
In the
I'm pretty
moment, he
sure he'll
thought-
get over it.
He just thought in the moment that was the best play, but
Mm-hmm.
it's alright.
And that's fine. I always say it's good to disagree, but it's never good to disrespect. Yeah.
I need my old teammates back. I miss them, bro.
I'm sure they miss you too. One of them is actually here.
Nah, he don't like me, bro. He don't like me.
Time heals all wounds. Just give people their space.
He's my pad one for real. I taught him.
All right, I'm about to bring another person up to the stage. Thanks for
All right,
coming
all
up, Forever. All right, Glock boy. I saw you like peek your hand up and down. And then he peeked out the room. There's that. Let me check the chat to see if anybody has questions. If you're shy and you don't want to come up to the stage, you can always just type it out for me. And I'll read it out loud and answer it for you. Trust me, everybody remains anonymous. Marie says, kill thirst can be something for sure. Yeah, I don't understand what you mean when you say kill thirst. If you could expand on that a little bit for me. WCG says, not exactly the leader, but people want to dominate. Oh, from what you said above. I see a Discord chat. I'm looking, I'm scanning this chat. Oh, I think it was about my mic. Something about my mic messing up or something. Oh, Marie's response from yours, WCG. Yeah. We were talking about, you guys were discussing about two dominant personalities fighting for control of the team. And sometimes it happens mid-game, sometimes it happens before game. You know, sometimes it happens after game. Okay, Top Dog's comment. Why won't it let me go that far up? I gotta work on my history. But yeah, what do you do when you have two dominant personalities? What do you do if you're one of those dominant personalities? Yeah, we all want to be in control, right? Maybe, just maybe, there's a healthy compromise to where my key strengths lie in some areas and your key strengths lie in other areas. And what if we could bring these two personalities together to make a super team? I know my greatest strengths when it comes to leadership in game is my game sense and my map awareness. But I know what I lack in is my ability to take down multiple targets at the same time. And sometimes I've played with other team leaders that are great at knocking out multiple targets at the same time, but are terrible with their game sense, map awareness, and map knowledge. So how do you build that? How do I make this person's strengths my weaknesses? I mean, how do I make my weaknesses this person's strengths and this person's weaknesses my strengths, and we can marry these two things together? Sometimes when you have two dominant personalities, comms can actually become a different type of level of experience. I know earlier I was saying about the comms, you're relaying information going back and forth about what you see around you and stuff like that. And really the purpose of all of that as well too is this information is most viable to your in-game leader. For example, I'm just going to talk about the scrim that we watched yesterday so you guys have something to go back and watch and understand what I'm talking about, instead of talking about games where I can't provide you guys resources from. Almost call them infamous. Inflorescence versus Aphelion. In the opening of the match, Inflorescence in match 1 and match 2 was doing very well in the escort map. And it was all thanks to the setup from Forever and Kunai's Aletta working the flanks masterfully and knocking out a lot of the strong carries on the team. Now, I can tell from observation strictly alone, and this is one of the reasons why I know a lot of people say T3 God is an overrated player, but there are certain aspects of players that I can see and know right off the bat that this is the genius, this is the mastermind and the strategist of the team. And it takes a very knowledgeable eye, an experienced mind to pick these things out. So what T3 God noticed when they were up against them in the first 2 rounds was this guy's gonna always play Aletta, and this Aletta is always gonna hit the flanks. What counter strategy can I develop to stop that? So he breaks out a Jabali. He has Myron on Osas, and I believe he starts running Ya. Sounds crazy, right? Like when you hear it out loud, it doesn't really make that much sense. But let me give you guys the breakdown, and you guys can watch the replay in my stream. It's under the Inflorescence versus RYX stream. You might want to fast forward to about the hour mark. I believe that's when they start their 8-game series against each other. So effectively, why Jabali against this team comp where you have a Hunter, you have a Aletta, and you have a Jabali on the other team? What does Jabali do for your team, and how does Jabali help you stop the Aletta? Well, the way this tactic works, and the way you can see it in that replay, the way T3 used used G3's Jabali was essentially as a barrier of protection to create an isolation point for the Aletta when the Aletta came for the flank. By having Myron out in the open, an invisible sight of Kunai's Aletta, it allowed T3 God to bait Kunai behind the Jabali and get him on top of Myron, right? And at that point, Myron would drop his smoke cloud, blinding Kunai or forcing Kunai to get back. And whenever Kunai was going to make his withdrawal, that's when T3 God was at a point to take advantage and move in and finish off the Aletta, or force Aletta into a point where he would be out in the open so that Myron can get the perfect shot. And the entire time, the Hunter and the Jabali from Inflorescence couldn't do anything to stop this counterplay because you have a Jabali shield in the way protecting Myron and T3 God. That barrier of protection, that counterplay, that counter strategy was absolutely genius. And he picked up all of that information from playing 2 games with these guys. So there's certain types of in-game leaders that you have to respect, and there's a reason why we have comms like this too in the game, letting people know what's happening and what's going on, so that the in-game leader or the team captain can sit back and assess the situation by looking at the repeated patterns from the comms coming from his team, so that they can say, okay, this guy likes doing this guy likes doing that, this guy likes doing this. You lay the pieces out on the map in your head like a chessboard, and you begin doing it like a game of Risk or a game of chess. When this person makes this move, I'm gonna move my rook over here to block the assassin. Okay, once the assassin is blocked, we can move around and get behind or on the assassin and isolate the assassin, because the assassin is really the only thing that's holding this team back, and that's their only primary source of damage. That's the only thing that's keeping our team back from pushing this objective. Isolate, attack, distract, attack, move on the objective, attack, attack, attack. The small fights that you win, every small victory leads to the big victory, but it's how you get there that's important. Ooh, that was the big breakdown. One of these days, somebody remind me over the weekend, I will grab a VOD, hop on stream, and give you guys a breakdown. Or you guys send me some of your VODs, and I'll give you guys a breakdown of your gameplay. And I'll tell you guys about like what's happening, what you could have done to do better, things like that. A professional coaching session, so to speak. How does that sound? Whew, that was a lot. I didn't expect to deliver so much information. Hold on, Sam, I'm about to unmute you.
You really muted me, bro.
You can speak now. I told you I was going to mute you. You said go ahead and mute you. I mean,
I thought
you thought I wasn't
You're
going to do it?
that talk you had whatever gave me Nam flashbacks, bro.
Give you what flashbacks?
Nam.
Who's
No,
who's Nam? Like Vietnam flash? Well, you ain't
Yeah.
like 15. What are you talking about? You got Vietnam flashbacks.
I'm talking, like
Your voice is completely gone, and I didn't even mute you.
oh my god.
Now I can hear you. It helps when you don't scream into your microphone, because that creates something called peaking, and when you start peaking, your mic starts to duck the volume down, and you start losing yourself. So yeah.
No, that talk about two egos reminds me of like the old days in core.
Oh yeah, that happens a lot. That happens a lot. Believe it or not, you guys aren't the only team that goes through that. He doesn't play the game anymore, but when I first started with my team in Villainous, everything was pretty much well established. We already had Deep as our team captain. You know, Deep just needed a little bit of pointers on how to be an effective team captain. And then we had all of our players, and everybody had already known right off the bat that this is the foundation, this is the formula. You don't play with it. You can call it red magic, you can call it black magic. You just can't mess with the blue magic. And eventually we started bringing on new players, and I ended up recruiting a player called Houdini from former clan UO. Everybody remembers UO, Unwieldy Overlords. And it worked a little bit at first, but I know I needed two teams, and these two teams needed captains for both teams. And then that's when the problems really started to arise. Houdini's had the biggest ego of them all. He thought his Waling was untouchable next to Mirzo's, and he would make that known all the time, every time. And whenever it came to me giving, VOD reviews and coaching and feedback and stuff, he was the guy that believed that he knew the game better than me, that he knew the game better than Deep, and that everybody should shut up and listen to him and let him do all the talking and stuff. And yeah, we had longer practices, 3-4 hour practices, because he didn't know when to let the ego stuff go. And at the same time, I'm the type of person that I don't shut people down. I let people make themselves look stupid until they eventually talk themselves out the door. And that's what happened there. But if I was a player on my team and I consistently saw you guys going at it, I would tell my coach, either you remove them for the team, or I'm going to find a team where this type of toxic environment doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So you also have to keep that in mind too. Words of wisdom, it's an old saying. Your attitude affects your altitude. You're not going to go anywhere if you constantly got problems with other players on every single team that you go on. Eventually, you're going to start realizing that it's not everybody in the community that sucks. It's your attitude that sucks. And that's the thing that needs to be adjusted.
Yes, sir. I think the next guy wants to come up.
Yeah, I'm about to bring him back up.
All right.
What's up next?
So like for the bot, so we'll just send you a Twitch, and then you could just watch the VOD and say go over did wrong.
Yeah, matter of fact, I can demonstrate how I would do it. I'm gonna go to VidStream because we have a lot of players that post their vids all the time. Hold on, let me switch to a screen that displays my desktop. I'll give you guys an example for those that are watching live on Twitch. I believe it's this screen I set up for myself. Right. Cool, everybody can see my desktop. Great, everybody can see my Discord. Hello, everybody on stage. I'm gonna bring you up here in just a bit, Geek. In the channel VidStream. There we go. We have a competitive match posted by Psychotic Bot YouTube. Let's check this out, community. Here we go, full screen this. Can you guys see the video well? So we're looking at the team comp. We have an Iris, Jabali, Hunter going up against a Ruby, a Judex, and an Iris. Right off the back, I'm going to say this is going to be a pretty tough match for... Well, it's almost an any man's game, but it comes down to the Hunter and the Judex carrying this fight. If I was playing in this match, I would tell my team to hurry up and knock the Iris out and then move on to the Judex, because target prioritization is highly important when it comes to winning team fights. Normally, I say always go for the healer first, because the healer is what's going to sustain this person through the fight and make them like a borderline tank. So knocking them out first is always like the primary objective. And oh my god, I'm going deaf listening to this. Whew. There we go. You got some nice music playing in the background. Immediately Ruby is knocked out. There goes their tank. I don't know why she was that close to the front. If I was the captain of this team, I would have been yelling at my Ruby right now. Like, why were you even there to begin with? On top of that, you have Ruby on the defending side and not the attacking side. That's kind of weird to me. Because you have a moving shield that's going to constantly be moving forward, causing you to move forward. So she would be better off on the defending side. I mean, on the attacking side versus the defending side. Right now, we got some good positioning going on from the Jabali, who's doing good blocking. The Iris keeps moving in and out of cover, which is nice. Using Jabali as a mobile cover. And these guys are really harmonizing very well. You can tell that there's a lot of good communication going on here. And that Iris didn't relay to her team that she had ultimate. She just dropped it to save herself, which is pretty selfish and bad for her team. Putting them in a bad situation, which is the reason why Judex died. And Ruby's about to be next, because she doesn't know how to stay behind the shield. She likes to dance in front of the shield. But yeah, that's an example of how I do VOD reviews live on stream. Oh, back to my other screen. Thanks. Okay, hold on, Geek. I'm bringing you up to the stage. But yeah, next, if you are listening, because I see that you're not here anymore. If you're listening, drop some of your replays or your VODs from your matches, and that goes for anybody else that's listening and watching this podcast. Drop your replays in our VidStream channel, and I'll do this every Tuesday for you guys. I'll do a VOD review. I'll cover your matches, give you guys some valuable feedback and some pointers and some exercises that you guys can use to build yourselves up as a team. All right, Geeks, you're up.
All right, the one thing.
Oh my God! Hold up! Who you loud?
What?
Hold up!
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me turn my mic down.
No, that's me. It's me. It's not you. That's what you say before you break up with somebody. Well, yeah. What's up?
All right. So basically, there was this little incident during my clan, and unfortunately, we had to kick someone. Now he is in controller now, which is good, but he had an ego all of a sudden. So how can we make it so that way we kick him down a peg, but not down to where he was again, where he downed himself?
So, the way I do this as a coach and the way I humble players with a huge ego is I do, whenever you're providing somebody feedback, you give them a positive and then you start talking about the negatives. I do it in reverse. So whenever somebody says that they're like the greatest player that ever existed and yada, 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 there is always something that you can touch on. No matter how good or how bad you are as a player, there is always room to improve. So that's when I start getting extremely nitty gritty and nitpicky. I will watch somebody's match. For instance, my Walling player, Houdini, he had a huge ego. His biggest problem, and it didn't make any sense to me, he's playing Walling at close range. He's always the first person out. I don't even know how it's physically possible to do this, but he does it. His Walling makes it to the enemy team before his Aletta does. I'm like, how did you get there before Aletta? That doesn't make any sense to me. And then he's out of the fight. He gets mad. He starts firing from his natural range, and then he moves back in again. And so I told him one day during the replay, so I'm like, you keep saying that you're the best person and you should be coaching this team. Let me show you some things really quick about your replay. And this is an ongoing thing. People in UO are saying this. People in Aphelion, well, at the time they were B4. People in B4 are saying this. People in Core are even saying this. The best way to beat Houdini is to wait 3 seconds. He'll come to you. And you prove it time and time again. And I would show him every little mistake. Okay, your accuracy is off. Because, Walling's arrows fires off a tad bit to the right. And you are aiming extreme right instead of extreme left to try and hit those close range shots. So your accuracy is bad, your game sense is bad, you're always getting flanked, you're always doing this, you're always doing that, and then I'll give him 3 positives out of 15 negatives. And then he's humble enough to say, okay, you're right. Sometimes that works. Vid streams, WCG.
All right. Well, thank you very much, dude. Honestly.
Yeah, there's that method. There's also putting him up against players that are better than him. Find a team that you guys know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you guys would get crapped on.
That's mostly everyone here. We already did that. We already did that. Trust me.
Yeah.
Freaking,
And then put the ball in his court. That's another thing too. Whenever people claim that they're the best and stuff, give them the spotlight, give them the leadership position. And when they start making those mistakes, then you can be the guy to say, well, we did everything you told us to do. And when we lost this, it was because we were following your orders. You're supposed to be the best player ever, right? You're supposed to be teaching us to be the best player, but we're not getting best team results. So how do we fix this? And I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, either they're going to give constructive criticism or they're going to burn themselves out and leave the room and then come back humbled.
okay.
That's another method too.
What the? Nope. I'm bringing up for you.
Huh? What?
All right. Cool. All right. I couldn't hear you for a second, so I'm like,
Oh,
all right.
oh, okay. It's probably my internet. It's like about to rain outside, so.
Ah.
But yeah, I hope that answers your question.
It does. 100%.
Anything else you'd like to share? Or?
No. I think I'm good.
All right. Thanks for coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And oh yeah, big shout outs to my people that showed up today. Myron, bad props, one of my favorite OSIS players of all time. Top dog, Dojo Mom, what's going on? Forever. I really love watching you guys scrim. It's a shame that I wasn't able to watch you guys' scrim earlier today. I would have loved to stream that. What's going on, Despair? You still owe me a game. Don't think I forgot. And it's good to see you again, WCG, Geek, and Nex. And Yoshi. Yoshi is the owner of the T3 Asia Legends. That's the Asian side of the tournament. Well, excuse me, that's the Asian community for T3 Arena. If you can, Yoshi, post your link in the general chat to your Twitch channel. I think your VODs is still there, right? So people can watch them. You guys should watch some of the games from his tournament. They got some good players out there you guys should check out. Whew. Yeah. So yeah, I hope that gives you guys all healthy coverage of communication, problem solving amongst Discord in your team, and other juicy, spicy things. I think tomorrow I'll go more in depth about types of roles and positions that you play. Not tomorrow, Monday. Sorry, Saturdays are my days off. I got to start planning for the tournaments and everything. Speaking of which, thanks for reminding me, everybody that's here in the audience. I was going to share with you guys how we were going to, well, my initial blueprint for the league so far. When the league is happening, when is the dojo's next tournament, all that good stuff. Ooh, excuse me. Where to begin? Let's go in order. So the first tournament we have coming up is going to be a European region event only, and it is a 3v3. As many teams as you want can enter, as long as they are all within the EU region, and it is not limited to just orgs, clubs, clans, even pickup teams can all join in on this tournament. It's going to be called the Autumn Armageddon. Yeah, Autumn Armageddon. Begins on the 24th. I'm going to be releasing the sign-up sheet and everything, hopefully tomorrow when I finish this start.gg thing. The link is going to be there, and you'll also see a new channel pop up in the dojo for you guys to sit there and look for players to join your team and whatnot too for the EU games. Following that, I'm probably going to do it next weekend or the weekend after next. We're going to be doing, this is going to be open for both EU and NA and Asia as well. It's going to be crazy. As many teams as you want as possible. We're going to pick up as many teams as we can for a 2v2 single elimination clash event. This is going to be an award only for the top 3 teams. The grand prize is going to be $100. That's $50 per player for second place. I'm handing out some, God dang me. I'm going to be handing out some Discord server boost. No, not server boost. Server boost goes to the third place. Second place, you guys are going to get the, what's that premium pass for Discord called again? It is the, I'm just going to gift you guys some Discord premium stuff. Nitro. There we go. I'm going to gift the second place Nitro. There. There we go. That's $125 value. Yeah. I'm not doing gems for this event, and I'm not doing gems for the Euro team. Well, it depends on how many teams I get for EU. I might be able to give some gems along with the money for you guys. $250 prize pool. I'll also be opening up a GoFundMe to the community if anybody wants to add on to the prize pool for the EU community. And we will be streaming that live on Twitch on the 24th. The time is going to be at 3 p.m. British Standard Time, BST. For you guys here in America, that's going to be 9 a.m. Central Time. And I hope that this is going to be like a 3 to 4 hour event because, yeah, there's that. Is there a TDM in Clash? Are we talking about for the 2v2 tournament, WC? Also, the reason why I'm releasing these micro tournaments, in general, it's going to be a TDM Clash. 2v2. And it's going to be a crispy county. These games are going to be fast and aggressive. And like I said, single elimination, best out of 3. No more of that best out of 5 stuff. So, first person to 2 wins, I believe, advances. And yeah, like I said, the reason why I'm doing these quick little micro tournaments is we're testing out a new platform here in the dojo and for one of our new events that we've partnered up and merged with in the future called World Legends. More about that later on in the future. I'll be discussing more about that when we get close to finalizing that. But we're testing out a new platform. It's called Start GG. We're not going to be using Challenge anymore. Your signups, the brackets, all that stuff is going to be ran through Start GG. This is supposed to be some new revolutionary tournament feature that is going to help us out a lot, and cut us down on a lot of manpower. Also, I need volunteers for this EU event. I need refs and moderators. If anybody is down to do that, check general chat. There is a channel called Applications. Let me do this here for you. Wait. What did I call it?
Boo, oh my god.
Applications? Hold on, I gotta find this channel really quick before I continue. I'm so embarrassed. Not there. Staff inquiries. There we go. Staff inquiries. Put your name in the hat there, and I will reach out to you guys when I have some free time, bring you in for an interview. Because we need mods, refs, staffs. No, we need moderators and referees for some of these matches, especially if I get like 25 teams signed up. I'm gonna need at least 2 refs. Yeah, 2 refs and moderators to make sure the games are ran smoothly. If nobody steps up, I got some people that could step up. I got some people that can help out, hopefully. I might have to go deeper into my pockets and hire some people, but I think it's possible. Yeah, so the League Series. Oh my goodness. Whew. I'm gonna give you guys like this is still in the blueprint phase, all right, for everybody that's watching. Let me get my stream set up here. So, and you can drop your comments and stuff too in the Discord or the Twitch chat. I'm looking at the wrong thing right now. What am I doing? Is it this screen? I'm moving up to the right. Woo. There we go. All right. This is just the blueprint. I know it's madly convoluted and everything like that, but oh, I gotta drop a graphic for this for you guys to understand. Hold up. Let me back to Discord. Upload. Thank. No. There we go. Do not judge me. My files are all over the place. Is that it? No, that's not it. Anyways, I'll have to find this graphic for you guys later. Ah, here it is. I'm just going to show you guys on my Photoshop. This event is going to be called, well, the first section, this tournament, this league, this series is going to be a 3-stage event. Okay? So the very first stage is called Cursed of the Round Robin. Only 16 teams can enter this league. All right? But before we start this league, there's going to be a invitational series that's happening. So for all my clubs, clans, and groups of pickup guys, we're going to be running a quick 3-hour invitational event where the top 4 teams earn their seed to enter the round robin conferences. So this is going to be split into 2 conferences, 2 divisions per conference, and a round robin event, meaning you guys will play everybody in your bracket. There is no losers bracket. This is single elimination, and the points are based. The top 2 teams are going to be moving forward into the tournament from each division based on how many points you have accrued. Every win equals a point. What does that mean, and how does that help you out? Well, let's just say you're in the bracket with Aphelion, and Aphelion is absolutely dominating you, and they come out with 9 points in their round robin. But you, however, won two games out of your 3, and on your 3rd game, you lost 3-2. That effectively gives you, what, 8 points, putting you 1 point behind. So, you know, it gives teams a higher chance of climbing out of their bracket if they perform well, right? And then from there, we enter into the next stage, which is going to be our double elimination 8-team bracket. So the teams move up from here. We have our losers bracket, and then the top 2 teams from each division ends up going at it. And then those losers go over there. And then from there, once the losers bracket has been concluded, the top 3 teams will be the 2nd place team and the 3rd place team will be competing to go up against the grand champions. And then the grand final stage for this playoff championship series is going to be a best out of 9 game, because unfortunately, I feel like for people that's won every single game and made it up to the top, they shouldn't be penalized with a single elimination. So they should at least get more games to play to compensate for the games that they would be missing out on if they were moved to the losers bracket. So it's going to be a best out of 7 or best out of 9 for the grand finals. A lot of matches. This is going to be a month-long event for this league series. Section 1 is going to be on the first weekend of the month. The following weekend is going to be the 2nd series, followed by, next weekend, the 3rd series, and then the conclusion of this event will happen on the last weekend of the month. And that's how we'll be doing that for the league. And yeah, that's a lot to cover, but I'm glad I covered most of it. I'll have more fleshed out detail for you guys soon. Yes, I know, WCG. My folder's got folders and folders. Don't judge me. Questions about the league. I know I've been having very frequent questions. With so many teams inside of our regions for NA and EU and Asia and South America, how am I to decide what 16 teams out of all of these teams are allowed to compete in our series and what teams is not? Well, our first invitations are going to be extended to orgs and orgs only. I understand that not all of the orgs have 2 teams. Some of them are lacking teams, so that's why we are doing an invitational series. Or you can buy that seat from that org, that empty space, like rent it from that organization to occupy that slot in the round robin. For all the other empty slots that are available, because we're also going to have room for 2 more or 4 more teams to join. You'll have to qualify in the Invitational Series to make it into the conference. Like I said, it's a rough blueprint, still planning it out. It's going to be fleshed out a lot more later on down the line. But yeah, that's the next tournament that we got coming up for the dojo. When is the league coming out, you guys are asking? Well, October 8th, the dojo T3 Asia Legends, formerly known as MGA, and a few other tournament organizers, we've all gotten together to create a regional tournament for you guys to witness and see live October 8th. And then after the conclusion of that, we'll be running our trial league series in the dojo. And then from there, that will be how we proceed forward with our world events, is the series, then the world regional tournament, until they have cross servers that don't cause a lot of ping. And then we'll actually have an actual world tournament. So there's that. Well, I've said everything that I could possibly say in the span of an hour and a half. I want to thank you all for coming out tonight to the Coach's Brew. I'm your host, coming at you with the bang howdy. And you guys have a wonderful night.
Punch horrible.
Let me just go ahead and take care of that problem right now. And you guys have a wonderful night. Thanks for everybody coming up. I forgot to close my Twitch stream. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Really appreciate it. Wonderful questions. I love each and every one of you. And my inbox is always open on Discord. You can message me anytime about any questions. I'm always open to coming out to your team's practices and giving you guys a coaching session. If you guys don't have coaches already, I'll even do one-on-one sessions with you. And I'll even sit down and play the game with you guys a few times too. Whenever you catch me online, whenever you see that tag, bang howdy, add me to your friends list. And if you catch me online, you'll catch me on game with you or against you. Hopefully it's with you. You guys have a good night.